What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Play the Fight Song College Football Show, another bowl game preview, and we hope you had a great Christmas, but we got to break down BYU and Colorado in the Valero Alamo Bowl. One of my favorite bowl games of the year. It always brings high-flying action. I have memories of Nebraska in it as a kid, so I always have a special appreciation for this one. Unfortunately, the Buffs, our rival, are in it this year, but we're going to break this one down from the top. Jake, tell us first who's in, who's out, the notable opt-ins and opt-outs for these two teams. Reminder, everyone, it's Sunday, December 22nd when we're recording this video, so there could be some different answers, but I think we're going to get a lot of main factors and main names playing in this one.
Yeah, I think that's the most intriguing part about this game is, to Coach Prime Dion's words, everyone will be playing in this football game, as, you know, relatively speaking. For those who have maybe not entered the portal, Alabama's second leading tackler is off to Alabama. Alabama? Colorado's second leading tackler is off to Alabama. He's entered the portal. He's out. For BYU, wide receiver Chase Roberts, your leading receiver, announces he's coming back for another year. Mm-hmm. So this won't be his last game. He's not leaving for the NFL draft. So that's also exciting. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we getting a full game from Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, or do we think maybe is it a first half, first quarter? I don't know what to expect at this point.
Yeah,
I don't either.
Predict this one.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to put it. I'll go up to JP first. Break down this game. What are your thoughts on these two teams? And answer Jake's question, because I think that has a lot to do with how this game will go.
Yeah, it has pretty much everything to do with how this game will go, because if not, you're going to get to a spot here where Colorado's playing a kid that hasn't played much, and then you're missing an absolute shutdown piece of your defense and one of your better receivers. Now, I think the receiving core at Colorado is fine, whether Hunter's in there or not, but he's a difference maker nonetheless. I mean, guy won the Heisman Trophy for a reason. He does it on both sides of the football. I think the more of the impacts on the defensive side, where quite literally he shuts down a side of the field against Retzloff offense and BYU offense, who slings it all over the yard and has been good at it the entire year. Now you're going to basically go from taking half that field where whoever Hunter has on him one-on-one, and you're not really looking that way as much, to now this whole thing's open. And then, like Hayes leaving Colorado, that's a good piece on the defensive line. That's been a lot better for them. I think BYU feels really confident with where they are. Like, I honestly feel like that. And I think if Shedeur and Travis play, I think it's just too much of not beating themselves. Like, Colorado's going to find a way to beat BYU, but door opens the moment if, they do play a half or they only play a little bit. It sounds like they're going to play the entire game. But again, nobody can predict the kind of stuff that goes on in bowl season. So we're going to act like they're playing. So that's what we're going to do, because that's how this works. I think Colorado is going to have a real shot to put up 50 here. And I think BYU on the flip side is going to have a shot to put up just as much. Like, this is going to be high flying as well. Now, we know Colorado's been better defensively on the defensive line and getting to the quarterback. But I think BYU understands that and has seen enough film and similar opponents playing within the same conference, right, that this is what they're going to do. They really try to get after the quarterback, and Retzloff's pretty good at avoiding it. Stay out of the mistakes, stay out of the slow start. BYU really feels like they have a shot here. Defensively, cannot have your guys on an island against the Colorado receiving core, but I think BYU's got enough in them, to really dig down deep and understand what the game plan is and go into this one. It's a different offense than what they faced this year. And I think the teams that kind of gave BYU fits are, I think they're a little more balanced in the run in most cases. That's where BYU struggled, was against the run. And Colorado runs the ball okay. They're fine. They got better at it, but it's not what they want to do. It's not their bread and butter. So I think the matchup offensively for BYU is really good. And I think Colorado likes their offensive matchup. It's just, who wants to play defense, in this Alamo Bowl? Because, I mean, it's what it feels like in this one. Like we talked about a Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt game felt the same way. I think these are two really good teams who haven't played each other. Probably should have met in the Big 12 title game in some ways. They both were right there, had every opportunity to just lock themselves in and couldn't do it. Now you get a chance to play someone that is your equal within the same conference, kind of prove to yourself that, you were the top tier of that conference. So I'm pumped to watch it, but I'm still iffy on who I think wins this one.
I love that you brought it up, but if you don't ever really want to see an in-conference bowl game matchup, but if you were going to, I don't think this is a bad option. We didn't get to see these two teams play on the field this year, But Colorado really controlled their own destiny until they got beat by Kansas on the road at Arrowhead Stadium, and they gave up a ton of points in that one. So if they're missing a couple of big pieces on that defensive half, there is a really bad side of this Colorado defense that can come out, and we saw it last year that kept them out of a bowl game. And then we've seen some bad signs of it this year. So BYU will have their opportunity to get their points up, especially with the opt-outs and transfers that we've seen from Colorado's defense already that Jake mentioned. But on the opposite side, it really, really matters how long Shedeur is in there, because the outside of the other positions, I really feel like they can backfill Travis Hunter because they do have such a plethora of weapons on the outside. Will Shepard, LeJontay Wester, Jimmy Horn Jr. Like if those guys are getting significant snaps and maybe you don't put out the projected top 5 pick in Travis Hunter throughout the entire game, I think Shedeur will still have options to throw to and score points. So I think 50 is very likely, and that's exactly where I saw it, JP. But if Shedeur comes out, I have in person seen this Colorado offense with Ryan Staub behind center. It is not good, and he is bad. That's why they've already taken a transfer portal quarterback in Salter, and they're bringing in a 5-star quarterback, Julian Lewis, who's already on campus, because Staub just can't be that guy for what this offense is. So if Shedeur is in there, I feel really, really good about Colorado putting up at minimum 40 points. But if he comes out, I see this slowing down, and I really give the upper hand to BYU. But on paper, with what Deion said, I got to think Colorado, who controlled their own destiny for so long within this league and probably would have put up a better fight. Sorry, Jake, in the Big 12 title against Arizona State. But I think it comes down to who's playing quarterback. And I'm still super impressed with BYU throughout this season. One of the last pick teams, or if not the last, Jake, in the Big 12.
Arizona State was last. BYU was second last.
And look where these two teams are. I mean, BYU at one point was ranked 6th in the college football playoff rankings. So two really good teams going at it. It's going to be a fun one. Where do you see it, Jake?
Yeah, obviously Iowa State fan, Big 12 fan. I'm really excited for this matchup. It's the other side of, there was a 4-way tie at the end of the year in the Big 12. Iowa State and Arizona State get the bid to Dallas. And now we kind of get to see a consolation between BYU and Colorado and who maybe was truly that second or third best team within this conference. I will say, I just don't sleep on this BYU defense. Tyler Beatty, that defensive line can get after you, put some pressure on the quarterback, and then they turn you over. They forced 20 interceptions this year. They're top 30 in pass defense. They only give up 180 yards per game. I don't think it's going to be as easy as Colorado may perceive that it will be if they do have Shedeur playing all 4 quarters. So I think that's going to be a good advantage for BYU. Colorado also doesn't have a single running back that rushed for over 350 yards this year. They've probably rushed in total like 500, 600 yards, which is just crazy.
They abandon the run a lot, though. They abandon the run quickly.
They do. And I think BYU can really have a good enough front to, stop the run and force Colorado to throw early and throw often. So I think that's going to be really successful. But I will give credit where credit is due. Colorado's defensive line's probably been the biggest difference in this team winning 4 games last year and 9 games this year. They've been really, really good. Get after Jake Retzlaff. He struggled the last couple of weeks in some of their losses that kind of ultimately cost them at the end, force him to some picks. And I think Colorado could have some success as well.
All right, there's the breakdown of this full matchup. Let's talk score predictions. Who's going to win this one? Who's going to cover, as the Buffaloes are a 5-point favorite, and that is December 22nd. Nonetheless, remember that. That's always good note when bowl season. That's everything's changing. Who's going to win this one? Who's going to cover, and who's the difference maker going to be? JP.
45-42 Colorado wins. Difference maker here. Let's go with LeJontay Wester. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's go still superstar in a lot of teams, right? He'd be a number 1 for a lot of schools at the receiver position. But let's just sprinkle that in there that he gets the opportunities and things happen with him.
I like that. I'm going to go Colorado in this one as well. I picked the Buffs a lot this year, so don't come at me for the shirt I'm wearing, Buffalo fans. But I like the Buffs in this one. I think they're going to put up 47. I think they're going to win 47-31. So high scoring, Big 12 affair. We've seen that before. I think the difference maker is going to be Will Shepard. I think this guy doesn't get a lot of light because of LeJontay Wester, Travis Hunter, and what Jimmy Horn Jr. has done on special teams this year. But this is still one of the better transfers in college football coming from Vanderbilt last year. And he makes an impact downfield for this Colorado team. So Will Shepard, MVP, just a blatant pick there. But Shedeur could throw for 4 or 5 scores in this one if he plays 4 quarters. Yeah. Jake.
Yeah, this will be the best bowl game outside of the playoff. I think this is your best non-playoff bowl game that we get. Two fan
Big
bases
12.
that
That's a little bit of a Big 12 bias, but we'll give it to you. Go ahead.
I think there's good reason. I think both of these teams can put up good numbers. Most of them are going to be playing attendance-wise. I think Colorado's going to travel well. This is their first bowl game in 7 years? And BYU always has a really good, passionate fan base, and San Antonio is a good city. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's close to a sellout or something similar to that. So awesome atmosphere, awesome game. I'm going underdog here. I think BYU wins this one outright. I think that they can do things offensively just a little more balanced than Colorado. And I think people have been underestimating how good this defense can be for BYU.
All right, there it is. That is the Valero Alamo Bowl in 2024. Just before the end of it, December 28th. Check that one out live, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. It's going to be a great one. Also, give a quick shout out to our BYU fans. ShopNoRivals.com, our great partner, just added BYU to their collection. Check them out today. They're premium collegiate headwear. They look great, great styles, premium fit. Check those out, shopnorivals.com today. And when you find the hat you love, use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping and buy yourself a hat. We'll cover the shipping for you. So just pay the cost of the hat. I believe they're going for $32 to $38. I think they're $32 right now. So check out an awesome deal on shopnorivals.com. We appreciate you being here. Drop a like on the video. We've seen our Colorado fans throughout the entire season in our previews. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. We love you and we appreciate you. Jake, take us away.
Play it.